social media reaches every country, every age range, every population, right? And if
Right.
you target your material and your audience and what it is that you're doing to go to the right people, you can make hundreds of thousands of dollars off of social media for your brand, right? Through
Mhm.
brand deals, through talent, through clients, through product, through retail. It's so many different avenues that you can do. However, let's say we step away from social media, and I do this all the time. We say we step away from social media and social media doesn't exist, and you want to make that immediate money. How do you go out and within a 50-mile radius guarantee yourself at least $4,000 to $8,000 a month, right? That is groundwork. That is you going and not being scared. A lot of people have a fear of public speaking, a fear of anxiety, walking up to people. You gotta let that go. You in hustle, you can't have that. You gotta be able to sell the raid to that roach and you say, yes, this is what we're doing, right?
Polish in my hand, I'm ready to create each nail a masterpiece. I can hardly wait. Soft pastels or vibrant hues, each tells a tale in their artistry of nails. Nothing ever fails. With each swirl and twirl, let the magic begin in this kingdom of gloss. There's no end to the wind. Gloss on my fingertips, watch them shine bright. Painted like a canvas, colors taking flight. Feeling fierce and fabulous, I'm ready to ignite. Slaying the nail game every single night. Nails and beauty talk with Asia the Bird. Nails and beauty talk with Asia the Bird.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Nails and Beauty Talk. I am your host, Asia the Bird. Today, we have a very special guest with us today. She is the founder and CEO of Snob Nails, the DMV metropolitan area's #1 school. Please welcome London. Hello, London. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. Thank you for having me.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Totally. I want to get into as far as the first question. So, where are you originally from? And tell us a lot about your upbringing, school experience, things like that.
Okay, so I'm originally from Northeast DC, Washingtonian through and through.
Yeah.
I
All
come
right.
from a single mom, which was an entrepreneur that ended up
Mhm.
meeting my stepdaddy, which I call my dad. I don't call him my stepdad. And
Mhm.
basically, he molded my mom into entrepreneurship, showed her a different way. They became a conglomerate, and they started what do you call it? The first black owned life insurance company. So I
Oh, wow.
watched hustle and entrepreneurship from childhood all the way to now. So I had a strong upbringing in entrepreneurship and hustle.
Yeah, that's really, really awesome. I want to get into as far as nursing. So you started as a nurse before getting into the nail industry. So what attracted you as far as like nursing?
Cause my whole family was sick. Everybody was sick. Okay. So it's like, black families, one person got a doctor's
Yeah.
appointment, all five of us going together to the doctor's appointment.
Right,
And
right.
so
Yeah,
for
yeah.
me, it was just more of like I used to give my grandmother her insulin when she lost her leg. I used to do her wound care. And mind you, I'm like 7, 9, 10 years old doing these
Oh,
things.
wow.
Okay. I'm not
Wow.
nowhere near a teenager.
Oh, wow. Okay.
But it was just like something I enjoyed doing. I love doing. My grandfather, he had COPD. I learned the different breathing treatments, how they take their medication. So as I got older, nursing was literally the only thing I ever wanted to do.
Right, right. Absolutely. Yeah, definitely is a whole thing of like with health and wellness, it's so big now as far as like, with health, how to maintain your health and things like that. A lot of people are trying to, find natural remedies for different things. And yeah, so healthcare and wellness is a big thing now.
Yes, yes.
Absolutely. So I want to get into as far as just the nail industry. So who or what exposed you to the nail industry?
Ooh, child, you're gonna crack up when I tell you this story, okay?
Okay.
Absolutely nothing, right? So when people say, Miss London, like, when people are like, oh, I had a passion for nails and beauty was my journey. No, that was not my case, okay? I
Okay.
literally pulled nails out of my behind. And when I tell this story, people be like, what? And I'm like, yes. So I made a list, right? I put
Right.
32 things on a list and I said, whatever that 22nd thing is on that list, that is the business that I'm going to open when I walked away from my nursing career, right?
Right.
Nails was the 22nd thing on that list. And that's how I got into nails.
Oh, wow. Wow. Wow, that's interesting. So you
Right.
did. So you made a list and you said, "Hey, nails on the 20 on number 22. I'm gonna pursue this."
There you go. 22 is my favorite number. So that's what made me choose 22.
Yeah, totally. I want to get into as far as with the nail school, Snob Nails Technician School, which is the number one school in the DMV metropolitan area. So tell
Mhm.
us about Snob Nails, how that came about, and things of that nature.
Okay, so when I started Snob Nails, I had just started as a salon, right? And
Mhm.
so I saw the need and necessity for me for hustle and just wanting to just own something to make the type of money that I was making as an entrepreneur, right? I mean, not as an
Right,
entrepreneur, as a nurse. And so
right.
basically, fast forward, when I walked away from my nursing career and I opened up my salon, I had only opened it just to profit from having the techs in there and then
Mhm.
the income. So fast forward now, when I walk away from nursing 100% together, I'm like, all right, now I gotta make some money. Now I gotta understand how to run the
Mhm.
business. Now when people, are wanting to complain about a tech or they want a certain style done, I don't know how to do none of this, right? I'm just owning it and collecting the check. So I
Right.
intentionally told myself, no, I'm gonna teach myself and I'm gonna show myself how to do nails because nail education was not vast the way that it is now. We're talking 10 years ago
Exactly.
where YouTube was just sprouting and there was
Right.
one Chinese lady on there that wasn't even speaking like really clear English that was trying to like demonstrate. And I was like, yeah, hell no. I closed the computer and was like, I'm gonna figure this out myself. you know?
Exactly.
And
Right. Yeah,
so
yeah.
from that standpoint, the salon was born. And then from the salon being born, I had people just coming to me and asking me, like, hey, do you teach nails? Do you teach nails? I want to get into this. I'm tired of going to the salons. I'm tired of not liking my nails. So I'm like, I barely know what I'm doing with nails and they love it. Let's pop up a class and let's see if it works, right? Like I
Right.
believed in myself that much. And so, boom,
Right.
I do my first class. It was 3 days, 3 hours a day. Boom, let's see how this goes. And the girl got it. Like when I say she learned, the girl learned. She really, really got it. And I'm like, oh my God. So then another girl that she knew hit me up. Yo, you taught such and such. She do such a good job. Can you teach me? I just start rolling. I'm like, yes, baby. I'm gonna make this 100K this year.
Oh,
And
right.
so from there, I learned,
Right.
which I did not know, that when you teach, you have to legally be licensed and approved to be a school, right? And so at the
Right.
time, I didn't know that. So I'm teaching illegally, but I'm doing such a great job. So there's a buzz all around town about Snob Nails and this girl doing XYZ. I'm raising a stable pass rate. I got girls leaving cosmetology school, coming to me, going back to cosmetology school, acing their tests. Is like, it's just crazy. So when the
Right.
board finds out about me, because of course the hate is real, okay? So the board finds
Right.
me. When the board finds me, they're like, look, we don't want to shut you down because we're seeing the real results. We're loving what you're doing. However, what we need you to do is get 100% correct. So a lot of people don't know this, but the board is what encouraged me to open up my school because this was
Wow.
never the path that I saw for myself. It was
Right.
nursing.
Mhm.
But with, I would say, God's grace, my glory, my hustle, and my ambition, that is how the school was started. So I opened up the school in 2020. Yeah, I opened up my school in 2020, and we have been number one and rolling ever since.
Oh wow, that's absolutely incredible. And that's the thing with it, because I like how you have that sense of hustle because I think that's definitely important. And coming from a family who own their own insurance company and things like that, and especially, you being motivated by the board to open up this nail school. And I think that's the whole thing. What I love about is black women, owning nail schools and teaching the next
Mhm.
generation because that's very, very important. And
Absolutely.
when I was first getting into nails, I was like, what, 14?
Okay.
And like, I did cosmetology courses during my time in high school from 10th to 12th grade, and I got my license. But the thing as far as the education, as far as with nails, it wasn't taught to a depth like how it is now. It's more in depth now. And so and it's really, really a cool sight to see, a great sight to see that, like I said, black, women educators such as yourself really taking upon yourself to really help the next generation to become
Absolutely.
prepared to navigate and to be successful in the industry.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. Yes.
I want to get into as far as just being a nail educator and business owner. So what are some of the things that you learned in your journey of being an educator and a business owner?
I have learned that talent is not enough. Like, you really have to care about what you're doing and the people you're pouring into. Like, you have to wake up every day consciously choosing your business and choosing your company, your staff, your students, like everybody, right? And I say that because me as a person, I'm a normal, jovial, everyday, glass always half full type person, right? But there are some days where I go through the entrepreneur woes. I just don't feel like it. I want a break. I'm tired, right? But
Yeah.
those are the days where I have to remember, one, somebody paid me to be in this school. So I got to show up and teach, right? Two,
Mhm.
there's someone that was previously in my position that wants to be where I'm at now. And I have the tools to be able to pour into them to show them that. So come on, London, get up and let's go do it, right? Also,
Mhm.
I've learned that there is a lot of, and I don't want to say mean girl, but a lot of, oh, I'm gonna help you, or I'm gonna try, or yeah, we can work together, and it's constantly falling through. And I don't want to be that person, right? I have
Right.
the opportunity, I have the reach, I have all of those things to be able to really pour into other women and men alike, because I have male students as well, right? And so my thing is, if they believe enough in me to give them something to go forward in their nail journey, that I
Right.
need to constantly keep on telling myself and restructuring myself and continuing to further my education so that I can be that for them that they see in me.
Yeah, absolutely, most definitely. I think that's very, very important. And it's it's definitely pushing through the doubt the best you can. It's pushing through the like you don't feel like doing, and even pushing through the fear. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And it's
Yes.
a thing too where even with me personally, there's times where I get afraid of the unknown and things like that. And that's what even when I'm practicing too is like if you're gonna do it scared. You know what I'm saying? And you
Yes.
you, you cannot be afraid to try. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? And that's something that I still work on. And I think that's with everybody. It's an everyday thing. It's not always I'm just gonna get up and go and there get the ball
Mhm.
rolling. So yeah, so it's definitely, we're all work in progress. And definitely that is something you have to just get up and just try. It's better like I've been told by a teacher like years ago, it's better to try than not try at all.
That's true. That is true. I tell my students all the time, there's no question that is a dumb question unless it's a question you don't ask. And it sets the tone for the entire course because it lets them now see, oh, you know what? Bet I can ask this question and not be afraid, or not have my classmates, be like, oh my goodness, or not have my teacher feel like, here we go with this dumbness. No, you're here to learn. Let's learn. I do not expect you to know it all.
Right, right, absolutely, totally, most definitely. So as far as snob nails, what are some of the things that students learn within your nail school?
Okay. Oh, baby, it's a litany. You don't just come to learn nails, okay? One, you gonna come to learn how to hustle. That's what you gonna really learn, okay? It's not nails. Because it's easy to teach the talent and the skill of nails. That's easy. Boom. Put it out
That's
the
easy,
door.
yeah.
You understand it. But if you cannot sustain your business, if you have talent, but you don't know how to market yourself, if you have talent, but you don't even know where to go to get the funding to keep your business growing and opening, what good are you as a nail tech, right? Or how do you
Right,
begin to make your business see profit? And so for me, I believe it's very, very important where I would say sometimes 1 week, sometimes 2 week, depending on where we're at in the course. And I pour back into my students about taxes, finances, how to set up their business banking accounts, how to legalize their business. What do we do as far as funding? How do we make sure that we keep our credit score a certain point, right? Then we get
right,
into the marketing side. We get into the side where we say, okay, as we market, what makes us marketable? Social media, let's take it away. If social media didn't exist, how do we let these people know here we are? This is what we offer. This is what we have going on, right? So I do a real, I would say, intense training outside of just nails. So after you learn the business basics and the 1, 2, 3 of marketing, then we get into nails, right? And so as my student learns nails, I purposely don't group them together and say, oh, these are the good ones over here. These are the ones that need help. These are the ones that are fresh out, right? I intentionally have my students sit in certain seats so that they can be encouraged by the next person, but they can also see where their classmates are as well. And it gives them a gauge to feel like, okay, you know what? Let me go harder. Or you know what? Let me be the helping hand for XYZ. So when I'm sitting at my desk and I'm watching them and I'm observing, my students have no idea what I'm doing. They probably just think, oh, Miss London just up there, whatever, right? But I'm actually seeing that when I told you what to do, are you able to reiterate what it is? And if not, how many people are willing to jump in before I come over and give you the hard truth about XYZ? So they're going to learn nails, they're going to learn marketing, they're going to learn business, they're going to learn how to grow, how to be sustainable, how to move forward, but most of all, what it takes to be a 6 and 7 figure nail tech.
Hmm. Yeah, and that's like a good thing that you teach the business first, because when I did cosmetology courses, I didn't learn a lot about the business. Even when I went to art school, I
Okay.
went to Savannah College of Art and Design. I didn't learn too much about the business, the in depth aspect of business, like insurance, taxes.
Yes.
We learned a little bit of like contracts and stuff like that, but we didn't learn it to a degree of how to really build a business and make a whole ton of money. You know what I mean? Is pretty much, when you graduate and leave, it's about getting a job or getting an internship. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying?
Mm-hmm.
So, because the colleges, even with the nail schools, these are institutions, these are businesses, in itself.
Right.
So, it's kind of like you're left to your own devices. And I like how with you teach the business aspect, because it's very important. You want other people to succeed and to, make a living. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? So,
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think a lot of people don't understand that, especially when they go to other schools that is not my school. And this is no shade, no tea for no other schools, right? But
mhm,
this is when students come to school, right? And they're wondering, oh my goodness, why is tuition at this rate? Or why am I paying XYZ? Or why is it this long? Or why am I going over? Like all the nuances that go into school, right? And then I'm
right,
explaining to them, okay, you want to come in here and you want to learn how to do some nails, you want to lay some acrylic and not be held accountable? Sure. Give me your money. I'll sit here at my desk. I'll BS and Bojangle. I'll let the other teachers teach
right,
you,
yeah,
and that'll be that, right? No, but I'm holding you accountable. I'm giving you projects. I'm making sure that you understand your work. And sometimes it's like, oh my God, Miss London, why are you being so hard on us, right? But I promise you, by the end of the class, they be like, Miss London, thank you so much. It's
mhm,
every time I get that student, I'll be like, ooh, come on, take it to Jesus. It's gonna be a hard one, you know? But literally, they always come back and be like, Miss London, thank you, because I know like this just would not be what I got elsewhere, And I've also had students that have gone to other schools that have come to me for like advanced training, or they've come to enroll in my school because maybe when they went to school they didn't learn XYZ, but they want to learn stuff, right? And I
mhm.
always tell them, don't tell me what school you went to, don't tell me who taught you. Come here with the open mind and see what you get. And they're always satisfied.
Mm. Yeah, yeah, that's absolutely cool. That's really, really cool. So I want to get into as far as beauty services. So your school offers Scholar Beauty Services. So tell us about some of the services that your nail salon offers.
Okay, so students on Saturdays are able to set up at their booth and work
Mhm.
100% and learn how to run the nail salon. And so they do full sets, they do manicures, they do pedicures. Some students are come to me with their esthetician license already, so they are willing to teach waxing. They're willing to add those extra services and lashes. Well, lashes they just made where you had to get a license prior to, you didn't have to get a license. So some girls was lashing, but we run it as a full service salon. So you literally walk in at a discounted price. The student does the service. You like it, you iffy about it. We might need a little bit of help, depending on
Yeah.
where we at in the journey, but they're able to
Mhm.
become service. And a lot of people love it. We also go out into the community and we do a lot of give back as well for like seniors, children, returning citizens, the homeless. We just do a lot of community work as well where they get hands on.
Mhm. And speaking of that, how important is to give back to the community and things like that?
Yes.
Because when I took cosmetology courses, we went to the nursing home,
Okay.
like every other week or something like that, to really, do the elderly's hair, nails, and things like that. So how important is it to give back to the community?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, community, I would definitely say supports me. I could never say that my community has not shown up for me. I could never say that I don't feel the love, right? But it's also about making those connections and even letting them know that you exist and you're willing. A lot of people are
Right.
scared to reach out to ask for the help or see if we would be willing to volunteer because they get so many, I would say, underhanded yeses again that fall through, right? Whereas me,
Right.
I'm being intentional about it. I don't give my students the option to volunteer. I say, hey, on this day, for your grade, we will be here to do XYZ. And I feel like if I give you an option, you might take that as a free day. You might not understand the importance of giving back, right? But if I require you to show up and be there, you're going to learn something. The amount of wisdom that comes from old people when you just sit down and let them talk, amazing. You know, the amount of
Yeah,
gratitude
right.
that you feel when you meet a homeless person. And I'm talking about the most basic, simple stuff that we could do. And they're like, oh my goodness, thank you so much. You made me feel human, you know? It's
Right,
important.
exactly. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that is absolutely important. Definitely. So, what do you think are the biggest misconceptions of nail schools in your perspective?
Mm, that nail schools, and I know this is about to be an oxymoron, but nail schools are supposed to prepare you for the real world. Because they're not. We're literally only supposed to teach you what you need to pass state board. That's it. But I believe it's up to the owner of the school to take it further. So I do. I believe that's
Right.
the biggest misconception. Students have like this thing in their mind where they're supposed to just automatically overnight be a success and the best of the best. Because I went to school, right? No, that is not what
No,
school is
no, no.
actually required to do.
Right, right. Now, as far as just with nail education, so what is your perspective on nail education in the nail industry, and do you think that there is miseducation in the nail industry?
Oh, people gonna be ready to tussle. Yes, there is a lot of miseducation. There is a lot of great information that is not being widespread. And I
Mhm.
believe a lot of it comes from TikTok, university, YouTube, college, you know, where people
Right,
feel like all I got to do is post up a video and go, right? And
right,
I'm one of those people where I'm totally not against, you know, extra learning, social media learning, virtual learning, whatever you want to call it, right? I'm not against
right,
that.
right,
But there are certain things that you cannot waver on as far as infection control, as far as sanitation, as far as nail disorders, disease, as far as even knowing how to properly lay acrylic, chemical burns, you know, like all those things, right?
right.
Where you're not going to learn that on the internet. And if you do learn it on the internet, who's to say what they're saying is 100% correct, right? Like it's a
Right.
lot of nail techs that scream, no lift prep, no lift prep. If you know what no lift prep could do to you, you would not be using no lift prep, okay? It's just
Mhm.
like those type of things. Or, you know, you'll see people sitting down there working, they don't have a mask on, right?
Right.
What are you doing? What, where is your, like, it's those things. And it's like, but you just popped up a video. You saw a girl that was doing good on YouTube. You started following her. You like what she did, and you just doing everything she do, but there's no real education behind it.
Yeah, definitely, absolutely, definitely. You know, the education is very, very important, and it's definitely
Absolutely.
watch who you get the information from, because
Yes.
just because you see the video doesn't mean like it's trustworthy information. You know,
Absolutely.
because there are some people, even with TikTok, you know, especially about health, there's some people that are saying stuff for a money grab and things like that. So it's
Yes.
definitely being mindful who you listen to.
Absolutely.
I want to get into as far as Nail Nation. So back in October, me and you did Nail Nation the Halloween contest, and we were both judges.
Mhm.
So what was like your personal experience as far as being a nail judge at Nail Nation? You know, just in general, like what was your experience like?
Okay, so first of all, shout out to Jazz. I even got my little hoodie on. Okay, but I would definitely say this: when Jazz reached out to me, so I this will be my third time this coming April, right? So I did the
Mhm.
original one that wasn't the Halloween one first. That's the one that I showed up to. And when I say I was amazed, inspired, like yes, oh my goodness, why is there not more of us in this building, right? Because I feel like a lot of when I say us, I mean us, okay? Like a
Yeah,
lot of
yeah, right,
us.
right, folks.
A lot of us will show up to IBS. A lot of us will show up, you know, to all the non-minority put on events and all the events that
Right,
are not really catered to us and looking for us, right? Haven't really seen
absolutely.
Bronner Brothers making too much noise lately and doing a lot, right? And so for
Mhm.
Jazz to be doing what she's doing with Nail Nation and people either know about it or don't know about it and have not experienced the level of camaraderie and black nail tech, I'm telling you, it was amazing. I was shocked. I was blown away. The amount of professionalism, the way that it was put together, the girls that were the talent that was in the room. Okay. I'm like,
Right.
I watched this girl have Chris Brown dancing on a Megatron on her nails. I ain't never seen that like that in my life. I'm like, how? You know, it's
Yeah.
just like, it's amazing the amount of just pure. artistry and talent in the room, right? And so I
Hmm.
even said that while I was on the panel. I told them, I'm like, everybody want to go support the who's who. Everybody want to go support what they think is, the Kiera Skies, the Young Nails. But how about you guys show up and support what Nail Nation is, which is for us, by us, and network and see what comes about. So I'm super excited. October was dope as well. She did the Halloween one, and they came
Yeah,
through with their Halloween themes. So it's just like the talent, it's an amazing experience. I love it. I love it.
yeah, yeah. I judged last year, and it was a great time. It was
Yes.
absolutely great. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And just to see the amount of talent and creativity, and to really see, people. I love the killer clown nail set. That's
Yes.
You
Yes.
know what I'm saying? So shout out to the person who did the killer clowns. It was really really cool, and it was a chance for people to showcase their talent and skill, but also
Mhm.
their creativity and see what they can do. You know what I mean? And that was really, I think, my first time ever being a nail judge. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, okay. Okay.
So,
Okay.
Jazz, I think, texted me and said, "Hey, did you want to do anything as far as with Nail Nation, judge, podcast, whatever?" And I said,
Mhm.
I never judged before, so let me give it a shot with the judging. So,
All right.
and then I vendored, of course, for my family business, Juanita's Remedy. But yeah, but to really, because Jazz also asked me to help her out with this with the next one. I was like, oh wow, I would love
Yeah.
that, So I'm
Yes.
judging again, so I'm excited to see what this is going to turn out to.
Yes. 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 It's amazing. I tell everybody, be there. Like, be there.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, 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 absolutely, totally. So I want to get into as far as just marketing. So, what advice would you give for someone who is trying to market themselves in the beauty and nail industry, as far as just with nails?
This is a good one, right? I feel like I'm giving away all the good for free. Okay. But no, what I would say is this, right?
Yeah,
Everyone is so heavily reliant upon social media these days, right? But they're
right.
not taking the advantage that social media actually has for you. Social media reaches every country, every age range, every population, right? And if
Right.
you target your material and your audience and what it is that you're doing to go to the right people, you can make hundreds of thousands of dollars off of social media for your brand, right? Through
Mhm.
brand deals, through talent, through clients, through product, through retail. It's so many different avenues that you can do. However, let's say we step away from social media, and I do this all the time. We say we step away from social media and social media doesn't exist, and you want to make that immediate money. How do you go out and within a 50-mile radius guarantee yourself at least $4,000 to $8,000 a month, right? That is groundwork. That is you going and not being scared. A lot of people have a fear of public speaking, a fear of anxiety, walking up to people. You gotta let that go. You in hustle, you can't have that. You gotta be able to sell the raid to that roach and you say, yes, this is what we're doing, right? And
Right.
so from that
Mhm.
standpoint, I would honestly say, as a nail tech, you must wear your brand. You must be your brand. You must do your brand. Everything that you have going. When I used to be out, right? So before I retired myself from doing nails, and I would be out and I would do my nails, and people would come up to me and they'd be like, "Oh my God, can I see your nails? I love your nails. Who did them?" I never told them it was me. I would speak of myself in third person. I'd be like, "Oh yeah, I go to this salon called Snob Nails. Whole time I am Snob Nails." But I'd be like, "Oh, I go to this salon called Snob Nails. The girl is so bomb there, right?" And they be like, "Yeah, I love these, da da da." And they be like, "Okay." They be like, "Well, how do I get in touch? How do I book?" And I be like, "Oh, girl, go ahead to their website." And I would give them their website. Now, the crazy thing is, of course, after they get to the website, after they get to the Instagram, they see that it's me. But by then, I'm gone on about my business. You didn't met my personality. You didn't see my work. And now you have an authentic vibe of what it's going to be like and a genuine connection and a trust. So now you're coming to the shop to be serviced. So that's all a part of marketing. You cannot be shy, you know?
Yeah, absolutely, most definitely. And it goes back into, it's like doing it scared. If you're scared, do it
Yes.
scared. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And then it's a thing where, that's like I said, even with me, I'm still working on like, hey, like just don't be afraid to put yourself out there. You don't know. You just never know what's going to happen.
Absolutely.
You know
Absolutely.
what I'm saying? So that's the thing with that. I want to get into as far as nail shape and nail products. So what has been like your favorite nail shape and favorite nail products?
Okay, I love a good stiletto. I love stiletto. That's my girly. Okay. Now, as far as nail products, of course, I'm gonna plug my product. Okay. So
Okay,
Snob
yeah,
does
yeah, yeah, yeah.
acrylics. That's my baby. That's my heart. That's my everything. All right. It's self
Mhm.
leveling. But no, that's my baby. But what I will say is this: my favorite products to use 100% is C&D across the board. When I say I love C&D, I love C&D through and through. I learned how to do nails with C&D. I've switched up
Mhm.
and I've used other products that I won't name because either I don't like or it's just a, a little tussle. Okay. So from that standpoint, but what I do think that a lot of people don't understand is how important your product is, because a lot of people will start with cheap items just to get their feet in the door, but don't understand that that cheap item is actually keeping you stagnant or making you struggle more because it's not of any type of substance or viability,
Right.
versus
Yeah.
going out and investing a little bit more, maybe 20 to 30 extra dollars on something that you might not think that you can afford, or you might think that it's expensive, but it allows you to work faster. It moves better. So now your client retention is better. The what do you call it? I'm losing my words. The amount of time that it takes you to do nails, like all of those things improve because you upgraded the product. So I want nail techs to really invest in themselves.
Mhm. Now, in terms of the nail industry, what are some things you like about the nail industry, and what are some things you think the nail industry could be improved on in your perspective?
Okay, so what do I like? I like beauty. I love the fact that everyone gets to be a girls, right? Like I love that. I love the
Yeah.
fact that you can be creative. I love the fact that you can be expressive. I love the fact that nails has taken me so much further and put me in rooms that I could have never imagined off of the talent that I love and what I'm able to do outside of what people would consider a good career as a nurse, right? So from the networking, the beauty, the entrepreneurship, the time freedom, that is what I love, right? Now, as far as what do I feel like can be improved on? Hmm we need to be viable. And what do I mean by that? We are not still to this day, we are fighting to be seen as a real career, a viable
Yeah.
career, a career that can actually make you some money, something that's sustainable, something that your parents will be proud to say, this is what my child does, right? And
Right.
so if you are in beauty, the caveat is you understand how much money is really in beauty, right? But if you're not in beauty and you're looking at it from the outside in, you're like, oh, it's unstable, it's unsure. They're not making any money because really a lot of people when they file their taxes, they're filing a loss because they want to be able to qualify for the certain things that you're able, to get more money back on your tax return. But it does us a disservice because when you look at the labor market and they're going over, well, where should we put funding, or where does the money need to go, or why does this program need to continue, or why should we give you a yes to expand? Those things matter. Numbers matter, And
Mhm.
when people in the beauty industry don't understand that, or you're just jumping into it without that knowledge, again, that we were speaking on earlier, it really does
Right.
us a disservice.
Yeah, definitely the business aspect of things is definitely
Yes.
important, and the thing with, like how you were saying about the people outside of the beauty and nail industry, people think, you can't make a whole ton of money as a nail tech or press on nail artist or whatever it is, and you can, what I'm
Yes.
saying? Because here's the thing, if a nail tech or a press on nail artist charge like 200, 300, $400 for a set, I mean, you have no problem buying a Burberry bag or a Coach purse for that amount of money, if not way more, or
Yep.
Hermes bag. So it's just like, what I'm saying? Like, nails is a luxury. That's a luxury service. Press
Mhm.
on nails, that's a luxury as well. That's part of fashion and style as well. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? It's a statement piece as well. So I think also too is definitely, I really wish that the outside, people in the outside of the nail industry would take us seriously more, because
Yes,
I'm like, you
absolutely.
spend $400 to $500 for your hair to get done, or yeah, $400 to $500 for your hair to get done, or like, a couple $100 for makeup or something like that.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? That'll last for a day, and you're not gonna keep it on for a week. So it's just
Yep.
like, it's definitely that, but also too, what's also a problem in the nail industry is the racism. I think, the lack of crediting black creatives and black
Absolutely.
artists, who set the tone for nail trends, especially black Americans.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, let's touch on that, right? Which is why I said I'm not naming a brand because the brand got me. Okay. So
Yeah, yeah,
I have actually personally experienced that where I was a brand content creator and ambassador for two different companies. And this happened. One
yeah. Right.
company being Caucasian owned, the other company being Korean based owned, right? Chinese based owned. And as a creator for them, they of course love what you have going. Oh yes, they give slicing you up so bad in these emails, and when you guys are going through contracts, and yes, do all this great stuff. And so
Right.
I did something, and you send in your work to get approved, right? You have like your deadlines and your reels and all that stuff you make. So I sent to them, and they came back and they was like, "Oh, we absolutely love this. Thank you. You know, X, Y, Z. Boom, boom, boom." Do you know that less than 2 weeks later, I saw another creator? This had not hit Instagram yet. This had not hit no social media yet. I saw another creator of non-color that worked for the same brand
Mm-hmm.
put out my exact material, almost word for word, and what I was demonstrating and teaching. Yeah. So I hit this person up because it's not making sense. Let's talk. So when I hit this person up and I asked them, how you get this? Where this come from? Like, what's going on? And she said to me, "Oh, I was asked by that said company to remake this video so that it could be put out."
Whoa. So this
Exactly.
just took all your stuff.
Just took everything, just everything. And so, of course,
Mm.
now I'm going back and forth with both of them. And they're trying to downplay and put it on her. And she's like, "Oh, absolutely not." And so now I got evidence from her side that it's definitely them. And so, of course, I abruptly ended my contract and I got lawyers involved and I was able, to settle that or whatever and get from there. And then the other company that I was working with, they actually found me. I was at a certain beauty event or whatever, and they was like, "We just love your energy. We love what you have going on." Da 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 da. They reached out and they asked me would I be willing to do X Y Z. I said, "Absolutely, of course, right? Go ahead. I love y'all stuff. Been using it without y'all knowing. You gonna give it to me for free? Sure, you know." And so I was working
Mm.
with them, and first 3 to 4 months, everything is good. Everything is rolling. Everything is great. Products is coming. Videos is going out. Boom. Here we go. They asked me to then host a live. This is like when live was first becoming popular or whatever. They asked me
Right.
to host a live education, blah, blah, blah with their product, right? And I
Mm-hmm.
said, okay, I'm willing to do it. No problem. Let's go for it, right?
Right.
So,
Mm-hmm.
okay, boom. I get flown out to Cali. Okay, by this company, get flown out to Cali,
Okay.
and they end up putting me in a studio, which is not live anymore. And everything that I'm doing, they now have their other non-colored person doing as well. So basically, I'm teaching her one on one now. And once I finish, they put her video out and not my video. Yes.
Wow.
Yes. Yes. And
Insane.
so you can only imagine how that went as well. Okay. Like Miss London don't play about her coin. Miss London comes after her coin. Okay.
Mm. Oh yeah. Yeah.
So
Actually, so.
exactly. So I have experienced
Actually,
I've
so.
definitely experienced it firsthand. Now, what I can say is here in the DMV, a lot of people will say, "Oh, the different ethnicities and stuff when it comes to trying to get a job in a salon or tries to work in a salon that are,
Right.
non-black owned, right?" And I
Mm-hmm.
have a lot of good connections with a lot of, other races and stuff that own, which is normally Chinese, Korean, Vietnamese that own the salons and stuff. And so I
Right.
have a really great relationship with them just for just getting out there, paving the paint,
Right.
knowing
Right.
going to the
Right.
different nail
Mhm.
supply stores. So I have not personally, and it's not to say that it doesn't exist, but I have not personally been slighted in that realm of growth in my area. But does it exist in the industry and does it exist, locally? Oh, absolutely, absolutely. You're 100% right.
Absolutely, totally, most definitely. So I want to get into as far as life and mental health. So this is a little bit outside of the nail industry topics. So
Mm-hmm.
how do you juggle being a parent, businesswoman, and nail educator with life and mental health?
Whew, Jesus. Every day I wake up and say, "Take the wheel." No, so a lot of people don't know, but I'm a mom of a special needs child, right? So my daughter has cerebral palsy, and I literally did an entire career switch to be present for her. And so it means a lot to me. Like it immensely runs my life as to how I show up. Now, I would definitely say until I opened my school, life was chaotic. It was just it was no schedule because, as an entrepreneur, you do what you want. You got time freedom, X, Y, Z. So
Right,
I
right,
did not
yeah.
have a schedule to sit me still. But opening my school gave me structure because, of course, with your lesson, you have to teach it for a certain amount of time and all those other things, right? But also, I have not mom guilt, but mom guilt, if that makes any sense. And it's truthful
Hmm.
because I feel like with entrepreneurship, it has allowed me to be physically non-present, but financially overly abundant to my children, right? And
Yeah,
so it's
absolutely.
kind of
Hmm.
a thing that I teeter with because even though I come home every day to my kids, I see my kids, I tuck them in at night, I make sure they eat. It's not a mom that she goes to work, she gets off at 4 or 5 o'clock, she picks her kid up, and she's home for the rest of the day. As a business
Right.
owner, 6 o'clock in the morning, we up, we out, we brushing our teeth, and I'm getting them to, well, they ride the bus now, but before I was getting them to school, then I don't see you until you get off of school, but then you're spending time at the shop. So you're a shop baby. You're sitting in the shop, you're learning the trade, you becoming friends with all the other people that are, in the shop, kids and stuff. So
Right.
it's kind of like a balance that I have perfected now, especially with my kids being older. So my oldest is 16, my middle is 12, and then my baby boy, he's 4, right? He's living the life. He gets to experience the throw it in the bag life, right? My oldest, she's more conservative. Like, can we need to ask, mommy, can we have this? That's my struggle baby. It's like, she went through the trenches with me. My middle one, that's my special needs daughter. And
Hmm.
she don't understand. She knows that mommy had money, but she don't understand that, like, girl, what I had to go through to get here, if that makes any sense. So she was
Right.
the original throw it in the bag baby. Then my son came along and he grabbing tablets, beats and everything else off the shelf, like 2 3 of them, please,
Hmm.
So I would definitely say that in the mental health space, it is literally giving myself grace and telling myself that you could be a total different way from where you are now. So every day, choose this and choose it wisely so that it is serving of you.
Absolutely, most definitely. Now, I want to get into as far as advice. So, if you could offer one valuable piece of advice to up and coming nail techs and nail artists, what would it be?
Mm. So my favorite lines: hustle, girl, hustle. Okay.
Okay.
But no, what would I would really say outside of that? I would really say block out the noise. You gotta really lock in. Your first 6 months to 3 years of entrepreneurship, you cannot have no outside noise. You cannot. I literally just told my students this day before yesterday. I told them, I said, if you right now have the luxury or ability to go back home, to live with somebody, a friend, whatever the situation is, for a minimum of 6 months and put your all into nails. Let's say you give yourself a deadline. Let's say you're working a job right now, right? And you give
Mhm.
yourself a deadline. In 3 months, I'm going to quit that job. But before you quit that job, you save every penny possible that you're able to save prior to leaving that job. Okay. Then you
Mhm.
take that money that you get from that job and now you use that to fund the startup of your business. It might not be a lot. It might be anywhere between the sum of $5,000 to $10,000, depending on how much you make, right? A little bit more, a little bit less. Might get some taxes and throw that in there as well. It just is depending upon what you have going on.
Right.
However, you take that money and you go wherever you gonna go for free for 6 months. You reduce your bills as drastic as you can. I'm talking about you driving a hoopty. You ain't got no car note. Car insurance low because the hoopty don't cost but XYZ, right? You got a cell phone, but you ain't got 50 million subscriptions. I'm talking about when I say you live in minimum, your bills no more than maybe $1,200, $1,700 a month. And that's a lot because you don't have rent. So whatever you're doing, it should be very minimum, right? And you
Right.
lock in. When I say lock in, you lock in and you build your business. You take your clientele, you grow in business, you show what you're doing, you become active. Nothing but nails. You're eating it and you're breathing it for at least 6 months. Watch your ROI. Watch what you get on investment. Watch what comes about. And I'm saying this because I was personally able to do it to get where I'm at today. So I'm telling you it's possible. But you really got to be able to lock in with yourself and say, yes, I could do it. So the advice I would give is block out the noise. That man ain't helping you. Leave that man. Your parents don't fuck with you. Tell them bye. See you later. Like you really got to lock in for what is good for you. And that's it.
Last but not least, where could people find you on social media, and how can people enroll and support Snob Nails?
All right. So on all platforms, I am Mrs. London, MySZLONDON, spelled correctly. Okay. And then I am Snob Nails, SNOBNAILS. So you can either get to the school or me via that information from Snob Nails and Miss London, or you can go directly to the school website, which is snobnailstechnicianschool.com.
All right, that's absolutely incredible. Well, thank you so much, Ms. London, for jumping onto the show. I love this interview. This conversation was absolutely great. Thank you so much for sharing your story, your experience, and really encouraging others. And also encouraging me as well to keep going and to really level myself up and things like that. So, definitely elevation is very, very important. It's up from here. So I really appreciate our conversation, and I can't wait to see you at Nail Nation. So,
Yes.
thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Hello, everybody. Thank you all so much for watching. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. Be sure to click the bell for notifications. Also, follow me on my social media platforms. And be on the lookout for more interviews to come very soon. Take care, stay healthy, and stay beautiful. Bye-bye.